But first, hasn't the return to school in this country become a complete and confusing stuff-up? And we could have seen this coming back when schools broke up for the Easter break. Remember, we had Victoria sounding the school bell early for its breakup, New South Wales urging parents to keep their children at home, which scared them enough to see attendance fall to 5%. And so returning to the classroom has been an absolute dog's breakfast, despite the Chief Medical Officer and the Prime Minister remaining entirely consistent.
Most children who have contracted the virus in Australia have contracted it in the family home. They have not contracted it in the school environment. The HPPC advice has not at any stage been that we should close schools.
And I'm telling you that as a father, I'm happy for my kids to go to school. There's only one reason your kids shouldn't be going to school, and that is if they are unwell.
They were saying that when we had more than 350 new cases each day. We're getting single figures almost every second day. And there's been any number of local and international studies on this virus which shows why there's little to no risk in sending children to school. But the Victorian Premier, he knows best. Students won't see the inside of a classroom all term. It says the state has had 7 infection amongst students, but has refused to tell this program what the source of their infections were, which is very strange. I wonder why. Now, New South Wales says its small number of infected children either contracted the virus overseas or from a family member. Maybe the Victorian Department has similar source data which doesn't support keeping Victorian students at home at all. Now, New South Wales children will get back to class for one lousy day a week in about 2 weeks' time. So it's safe on Monday, but not on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or Friday. According to which health report? None. These people remind me of climate alarmists who not only predict the end of the world, but ignore the science about what we can actually do to change the temperature of the planet. And so yesterday in New South Wales, where schools are technically supposed to be open, we had a 13% attendance. 13% doesn't sound much, but what does the Primary Principals Association of New South Wales say? Its president, Phil Seymour, is quoted today. We need parents to hold the line, to follow the instructions their school gives out. By sending lots of kids in, you're going to send the whole system into chaos. The Prime Minister should butt out. So parents, you heard the union, hold the line. You should ask for one of their protest banners while you're picketing as well. How dare they? Our schools will turn to chaos with just 13% attendance. What sort of pathetic, fragile education system do we have? If it weren't for the unions revving up teachers over virus fears, they'd all be at work right now and teaching all students 100% with ease. Just like supermarket staff survive, transport employees too. What about retailers and tradies, the construction industry? They all seem to get through this. But in Queensland, they're going against the medical advice as well. Now, we know that no social distancing is required in schools because of the data, because of the medical advice. Staff rooms are, though, at some risk, like most workplaces. But the Queensland Education Department is establishing a social distancing regime for children in every classroom. Less students, more spaces and more angst for parents who'll end up just keeping their kids at home. Again, based on no paediatric COVID-19 medical finding. Children rarely contract or spread COVID-19, and parents need to ignore these scare campaigns, especially from the unions. And so messy has this return to school become. One WA school principal decided to go it alone, and she's been stood down as a result because she pleaded for parents to keep children at home from school. WA haven't had an infection for days. Luckily, parents in WA are a bit smarter because 60 to 80% of students are back doing what they should be doing today, learning in the classroom. The medically unsupported scaremongering everywhere else just needs to stop for the sake of the education of our children.